I am used to making travel plans. So I researched hotels and toured the internet and made reservations. However, the night before we were to, my husband said to me,
Oh, okay. Is your mom coming with you on the trip?
I was surprised at the suddenness in one matter.
What? I thought it would just be you.
I told you, didn't I?
He's got a nasty way of talking to me. I felt like he was doing it on purpose to annoy me. My name is Erin. I am a 32-year-old. I've been married to my husband, Otis, almost a year, and even though we're newlyweds, I'm already under a lot of pressure. The cause was my husband. When we were dating, my husband would give me sweet words and lots of gifts. But as soon as we got married, his changed drastically. I thought my job was worthwhile and to keep it. But Otis strong. He encouraged me to.
It must be hard for you, Erin, to May the housework and your job. My earnings would be enough.
But the truth, he just wanted me to and complete the housework. And that's not all. He would give me detailed comments, cleaning and cooking. It was as if he was coaching me in of sport. I am exhausted by his attitude If I try to talk back to him, he gets grumpy. Just looking at his face depresses me. His stories are long, and he's very persistent. So, recently, I've decided not to say anything to him anymore. I often sigh loudly when he is not. Not only that, but he has become more and more restrictive with me. I need his permission to go out with. When I was single, I used to meet up with friends and colleagues quite often. It's hard for me to remember my childhood when I could eat delicious food, go to cafes and restaurants, and chat as much as I wanted. In the first place, I had to leave where I lived because Otis and I went to live with my grandmother. It's only a 2-hour drive, but I can no longer see my parents and friends easily. It's a rural area with lots of greenery, very little in the way of entertainment, say the least. It's not convenient for shopping, and I don't know anyone. The most painful thing for me is that I have enough money to live every month, but not enough to save. According to the statement I was given, Otis's income wasn't bad, but he loved to drink and could easily spend all his money on alcohol. That alone is a considerable monthly savings. He also liked to gamble and would spend weekends and holidays in the casino from morning till evening. On days when he lost a lot of money, take it out on me. I'm fed up with it. On top of that, Otis was quite a man. My mother-in-law often came unannounced. She checks every room in the house. Me a sarcastic look.
Erin, you're not cleaning well enough.
My mother-in-law likes to tell me that I'm just like her son. Otis is such a mummy's boy that he does whatever his mother says. He doesn't realize that I'm having fun. My mother-in-law usually comes over at that time. Then she happily spends the rest of the evening as she bullies me. After dinner, she occupies the sofa in the living room and watches TV lazily. During this time, I have to listen to complaints, which is a pain. After that, she finally goes home. But she can't drive, so I have to drive home. I feel like throwing up just the fay to listen to her talk about things I want to listen to. It was during this time that my husband suggested we take a trip together. Did something good happen to him? I had no idea what was going on. Ever since I was a student, I've loved taking day trips alone or with friends by train. Being in an environment away from your routine, you can forget about the stressors of work. You can freely enjoy unfamiliar scar food. When I think about it, we never even went on a honeymoon because Otis, who is an independent person, didn't want to go. So when he suggested the trip, I hurriedly made arrangements. Or rather, I had to do it because one seemed to do anything. It's been a while since I've made travel plans, but I'm used to it. I searched online for hotels and tourist attraction, made reservations, and planned everything in advance. However, the night before we were to Otis said to me,
Oh, yeah, Mom's coming with us, okay?
the suddenness of it took me by surprise.
What? I thought it was just you.
I told you, didn't I?
He's got a nasty way of talking too. From what I've seen so far, it seems like he's doing this on purpose to trouble me. I said back to my husband,
Well, we're in trouble then. You know, I have already made a tray. It's hard to cancel and rebook now, especially since it's the popular, sick. Last time I checked, most of the hotels were fully booked.
Otis heard that and interrupted me mid-sentence. He seemed to be in a bad mood, so Sil became angry.
It's your fault. Damn it, I shouldn't have left it to just rebook or do something, right?
Okay.
I immediately began searching on the computer as though my grumpy husband had been waiting for me. Then he pushed me further.
Hey, this is your responsibility. You'll have to pay for the trip, going to be a long one.
What? Hey! That's a great idea.
Don't talk back to me. This is a done deal, and if you don't do it, I will divorce you.
My husband said in his most boastful voice, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. I've seen this happen many times and tired of it. I had so many things I wanted to say knew that if I did, I would get into again, so I didn't. As I expected, all the hotel's reservations were already taken. When I finally found someplace to some guest reviews were terrible. I'm sure Otis and my mother-in-law would complain if I did a bad job with the lawn. I thought about what to do and then decided. Around noon on the day of the trip, mother-in-law arrived with a large, heavy-looking travel bag. It was unusual. She didn't call a cab. I thought she must have been looking to it. My husband, smiling and laughing, at the front door. Then I said to them, the Lord is witness between you and me, and the Lord will make clear who is speaking the truth.
I'd like you two to go on this trip, please. I'm not going.
My husband was quite surprised. He thought I was going to apologize travel arrangements.
Hey, what the hell? What does that supposed to mean?
Erin, I've been looking forward to...
Well, I told Otis yesterday I had to make a sudden change and couldn't book the hotel for the three of us.
Erin, you're hopeless at everything, aren't you?
You had all that time and couldn't have rebooked the reservation?
As I had expected, they sarcasmed me. So I firmly told them,
I had originally made reservations, people, so it should be fine. Considering the check-in time, I think I should leave now.
I'm the one who decides when to...
Otis seems to be angry with me for expressing my opinion, which is rare for me.
If you're not going, who's gonna... Besides, who will take care of Mom?
He's right. I need a lot of help, you.
I'm exhausted of the attitude of some people. I guess they think I'm nothing more convenient housekeeper. I took a deep breath and cut them one.
Otis, you can drive. Besides, I don't have a mothering known care of any longer.
Otis looked at me with a blank stare. My mother-in-law, who was standing there, rolled her eyes and looked at me like she didn't understand. They both looked dumbfounded, so
To tell you the truth, our divorce has already been in process.
Divorce.
Otis was shocked and was at a loss. But after a while, he stared at me.
After your mistake on the arranged trip, you're lying to me. What the hell are you thinking? I kind of knew it, but you're really an idiot.
Hearing that, my mother-in-law continued to say that she had been in a similar situation before.
Yes, a divorce. Quit the joke, Erin.
My mother-in-law said with a slight smile.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
I said that clearly.
In fact, Otis had threatened me with many times. When he didn't like something, he did. He seems to have forgotten all about though. The other day he wanted to threaten me badly. He even filed for divorce. But I've done the paperwork too, so divorce will be final soon.
My husband's foolish plan to manipulate me has failed. He thought there was no way I could him. I guess he didn't think I was capable of such a drastic thing as divorce, or even of considering it. After a while, my mother-in-law said, "I'm going to take a nap."
Otis, let's leave her alone and go own.
My mother-in-law is a sucker for Lomian, so I knew this would happen. And Otis seemed to agree with her.
Yeah, you're right. Let's leave this alone and go on a trip, just you and me. She 11 pay for everything anyway, so let's enjoy it to the fullest.
Maybe it was because he didn't have time, or maybe it was because he was of his mother, but Otis didn't show usual overbearing attitude. They both got into the car and drove. I, on the other hand, was relieved. That evening, my phone started ringing off the hook from Otis and my mother-in-law. I ignored them for a while, but they noisy, so I set my phone in silent. I was just busy packing up my things. When I finished packing everything, the house with one suitcase and it was a house I lived in, but I don't have a single good memory for one. I felt refreshed when I stepped out house. The destination was my hometown. I'm gonna stay with my best friar for a while. Gabby welcomed me with open arms. We cooked together and talked like two, and I felt very relaxed. On the other hand, Otis and his bad time on their trip. The staff at the hotel was very rude, and Otis seemed to have lost his temper. The room had an old, small bathtub with a musty smell, and the water pressure in the shower is weak. My mother-in-law, who is a big fan of spas and very particular about what she does, was not satisfied with this. Dinner was not included. Otis took a wrong turn and arrived. All the restaurant were closed. So they had no choice but to buy from the vending machines. The next morning, my mother-in-law was excited about the buffet, but she was disappointed to find that it was just frozen food quality. They had a lot of bad-mouthing the hotel, and there was a lot of, on the way back, my husband hit the front of him because he was looking while driving. Although they were not seriously injured, both of them got whiplash. In addition, when the other man yelled Otis, Otis lost his temper and replied in his usual tone. This led to a lawyer's case. The other man's car was a brand new, very shiny, and because it was a rare car model, he was going to have to pay a lot of money. I had no idea that a car accident happened, but the hotel that I had rearranged telling the two of them was, yes, I deliberately chose a place that was of poor quality based on the reviews. By the way, the first room I booked was a luxury room with a jacuzzi. I wanted to beat them a little in our relationship. I deserve it, considering the count my husband and mother-in-law have on me. They called me on my unlisted number several times after finding out where I lived. I had no choice but to answer. My husband called. Otis seemed to be very angry about.
Wow, was it really that old and with service? I didn't see anything wrong with my reservation.
I just responded and didn't pay any to what he said. Otis' voice lacked its usual vigor. Even so, he was still trying to put the blame on me. But strangely enough, I was able to them. After only a few days away from her mother-in-law, she was feeling much better. Reading was my hobby, and for a long time, I went to the library and purchased books at the bookstore. The delicious home-cooked meals that Gabby and I prepared together cheered me up. Besides, I can sleep peacefully ever. My mind is calm, and I can let most things pass me by. Gabby and my parents were also happy my change. As planned, I asked Otis to pay me the horrible things he had said and me over the years.
I never once did anything terrible. I was just doing what I thought was my stupid wife. I'll never pay you anything.
At first, my husband was very stubborn and insistent. Tom's surprise, he even wanted to play again. Well, not exactly.
I may consider marrying you again if your attitude changes.
He was talking in his usual superior manner, but of course, I absolutely refused. After listening to his arguments, I mouthed,
Well, this isn't going to work, so to apply for mediation. And I will hire a lawyer.
As soon as I said that, my husband became quiet, and he showed some reluctance to core my request. I believe that the combination of our divorce and the car accident was too much for Otis to bear. Sometime after the divorce, I was able to return to my former job. I am very grateful to my kind boss that this happened so smoothly. The office is clean, my colleagues, and inviting as before. I was feeling rather like I could fly. After a while, I found a nice apartment in the city center and started living on my own. I told my best friend Gabby, my grandma, that I would see her whenever I could, and she was happy to send me off. Time flies. Recently, my boss and friends have approached me about a job opportunity, which I appreciate, but I am currently not interested in pursuing it. Although the memories have faded, I sometimes recall the painful days with my ex-husband and mother-in-law. So I'm thinking that until I can get my feelings in order, I'm not going to fall in love or get married for the time being. However, I have decided that I will up and will not forget to improve until I meet a wonderful match some. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.